Hi everyone, welcome to Amaranth. These are general messages for the collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Jupiter placements. Let's get into it. So the first card you have, Taurus, for today is the Nine of Swords, and it's in the reverse for you. Swords is an air suit. 9 is almost the end of it. Now, it's in the reverse for you, Taurus, and you are the fixed earth sign. Now, if you look at the picture in the deck, there is this one sword out here as compared to the other decks that show 9 swords, which is about overthinking things, restlessness. And the sword in here, if you see, it's sharper at the bottom, and there's a beautiful flower that's blooming, which is heading upright, just in the direction where the crystals are growing, especially when the card is in the upright. Now, let's reverse this card, Nine of Swords. In the reverse, you see this beautiful blooming golden flower, which is on the sword. It's actually heading into the earth instead of the skies, right? It's a grounding energy over here in the reverse. So I feel that this is a time for redemption for you here, Taurus. Below here, the keywords I'll just read. It says crystalline clarity, dawn after darkness, anxiety releasing, and grounded truth. So I feel that this word out here, which was once, raised in the upright, which was causing a lot of tension, pressure, sleeplessness, and all of that, now it is in the grounded position. Very much feeling rooted, very much feeling anchored. And I feel that the tension, the pressure, the anxiety, whatever that was for you here, Taurus, when this Nine of Swords was in the upright, now it has become your foundation. So all of those thoughts that you had, all of the, things that you were thinking about, now you will have extraordinary clarity about it, because look at these crystals, they're beautiful. So you will have that, that extraordinary clarity, and it's because of the thoughts that you have been harboring. So I would say that this Nine of Swords in the reverse, it's at a very healing energy. That's what I'm picking up from this picture out here. It looks like it looks like a very healing time for you. It's like, it's the morning after the long sleepless night, all of those fears that you have been harboring, everything that you have been replaying, all of those worst case scenarios that you have been thinking and overthinking are now starting to go away. They're now starting to make sense, because I feel that you have gone to the bottom of things. You have your own clarity. You know what is the truth, your truth. And whatever was, causing all this tension and all of the mental chatter and fog, that's all going away, because now you have that wisdom that you are applying in those situations. So this is a very, very important and a very, very, I would say, a deeply profound release, because whatever you thought initially was, difficult, was fearful and all of that, now that is starting to take a different shape. It has become the wisdom for you. And whatever was your reason of this overthinking, whether it's finances or health or anything else, personal or professional, whatever that anxiety, whatever that reason was that was keeping you awake, I feel you already have understood the underlying message beneath it. I feel you already learned that. What was their underlying message beneath that? You have figured it out. And when it comes to these beautiful crystals that are showing out here, it's really beautiful. I mean, some of you could be into crystals or learning how to make crystals or just buying crystals and, for just in your jewelry or as assets or something like that. For some of you, it could be that. For others of you, you could be using it in healing practices. Crystals are long used in healing practices. For some of you, you could be using it in healing practices because crystals and especially some of the crystals, like the one that is shown out here, quartz, it's actually used to remove the anxiety, to clear away the pressure, the fear, the anything, quartz. For some of you, you could be using that in, around your house. You could be using crystals around your house because crystals, especially the quartz. Quartz is known as the condensed energy of the sun. And I feel that, the sun is nothing but, symbolic of the illumination. And when we bring in crystal, the quartz crystal into our energetic field, it actually brings in illumination into our fears and, shows us the ground reality of things. Sometimes, the fears are way much more than the actual reality. Like, for some of you, this, especially if it's in regards to business. Like, for example, if you're a business owner and you're worried about your business or the finances in regards to your business. So when you actually take the first step is bring in a finance person, a finance manager or something like that to take a look into what the finances are, where it's going. Is there a cause of worry? What are the workarounds? What are the new rules? And things like that. And when you put in the groundwork, you realize that the worry was just peaceless, So worry was more worse than what actually the situation is. Similarly for health, if you're feeling like a certain type of way, maybe you're starting to understand, okay, these were the problems, then what is it that I can do to mitigate it? Like maybe drink more water, or maybe sleep well, use some sound baths, or use some salt baths, or even lavender, for a good night's sleep, for calming my nerves, for eating well, if that's your problem. Whatever related to the health, you're trying to break it down into smaller parts and then trying to, take actions and steps towards curing those, towards removing those problems. Now, this can also be fears in regards to contracts, or maybe presentations, or maybe talking to or starting off businesses, or talking to people, personal, professional, or anything, any kind of conversation. I feel that you're making peace with it. Or maybe this was in regards to your boss. You want to speak to your boss about something and you were really scared. But then you're like, you know what, you're still going to muster the courage to talk, and then figure that you were just feeling, dreadful, just simply for no reasons. So I feel that you're starting to release that, or take actions and steps towards releasing it. And then the energy of the Uranus, which is in, at the end of Taurus or Gemini, somewhere out there, transits of Uranus are very powerful. They are sudden revelations. And I feel that in this case, it's like, surprises for you, pleasant surprises in some way, shape, or form. Now, this can also be, a part of your energy, or it could be your environment where you are, and you could be working for centers that help people release their anxiety, because today, in today's times, 2026, is a good time, right? If you have any problems, any, mental therapies and all of those things, maybe you are providing some kind of counseling, or you're kind of talking to people in regards to that, just letting it out, whatever is in your mind, so that, that's once you let it out, you feel the problem is not as big, or the solutions are possible and things like that. So for some of you, it could be that you're working in those kind of domains. Now, for some of you, this could be investments, some kind of investments that you have made. Maybe you were afraid to make those investments, or you were afraid how those investments are going to pay off. I feel the anxiety in terms of that as well is kind of releasing. Like, suppose you wanted to buy a home, okay, in a place which is, highly under the news or unstable markets, and you're like wondering what's going to happen to that house or the funds, or should I buy or should not I buy, things like that can also be a part of the problem. Or it could be some kind of an issue with the property that you've already got. Maybe there was a settlement issue, or maybe there was, like, you have a tenant and you have a difficult tenant situation, or maybe it's the mortgage, or maybe like you bought a house and then the development stopped, and you're wondering, like, when will it pick it back up again? So for some of you, those fears and issues are also starting to resolve. Now, some of you can actually, because there's a lot of green energy, a whole nature energy, a lot of reflective energy. So for some of you, this can also be spending time in nature and grounding yourself. And that actually makes you and your mind, your body feel so much more lighter. Everything shifts inside our health and sleep patterns and all of that. Once we go outside, we connect with nature, things start to heal in terms of our physical body. The next side you have, Taurus, is the moonlight. Now, moonlight is, of course, moon, we know. It's a reflected energy. It's the reflected light of the sun. And the beautiful thing that I like about this deck is not only is it very much simplified, but also every picture out there, it has a blue light, which is like the soul of the card. Here, the blue light is on the trunk, which is your soul, and the flame, the soul, is something that keeps a person going, season after season, whether it's the rains, the cycles of life, the ups and downs and all of that, the flame that keeps going, the bare bone structure, the trunk, your inner strength, your values that are hidden, that are not visible to the external world, is something that keeps you going, Taurus. And that's the thing that has been brought to light in this energy. So even the tree over here, the trunk is like, there is no leaves, right? It's the fall season. The trees are falling or whatever this is, and the moon is full. So maximum illumination during the nighttime. For some of you, this could be, some of you, it could be moon and Taurus energy. Now, this tree over here does not have leaves, right? We already spoke about that. But it's still a beautiful sight, nothing wrong with it. It's a very alive, vibrant, artistic picture. And, it feels like the branches of this tree is actually holding this moon. That's the kind of impression that I get. So I feel that the leaves are the fluff, the external appearances and all of that in our lives. And this tree without the leaves is our bare bone structure, the values that we have, our innermost things, our qualities, our skills that not everybody sees at all times. So that structure that holds us without the fluff, without the decor, without any external fluff or bling is something that I think this energy is talking about over here. And because this structure is beautiful, I mean, I really like enjoying, even on the roadside when I see these structures, like just trees without the leaves, they're even actually used in a lot of decoration. People, I mean, there are some even dried plants or dried sticks that are available for decoration, and they really add beauty. And I feel this is the beauty over here. This is your beauty over here, Taurus, which is the beauty that you have inside of you, when you remove all the fluff away from your life, from your external life, the bare bones of what remains of you, your quality, your heart space, your mind space, what you think, your thoughts, your heart. That's the beauty that we're talking about here. So this is nothing external or anything that you have, your wardrobe or what you dress like. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about your heart, your mind space, who you are at the core, your soul, your truth, your values. Also, I feel another significant impression that I get out of this is that we're looking at a bare bone tree structure which has nothing. So if you are looking at some aspect of your life that it's not getting the leaves, that it's just a blank tree, it's not growing, whether, it could be in any area of your life, whether it's in your career, personal life, professional life, your business, your people that you interact with, whatever that is, whichever area you feel that that area in your life is like this, like the bare bone trees, no leaves. Like there is nothing happening, there is no growth. There is a structure, but there is no further growth. Then that's what you need to understand, that the tree, it did not grow so big without any roots, And the most important thing is that when the trees, they shed the leaves, it's that point in time and the roots are growing. The maximum underground activity happens when the roots are in the growth phase, when they're growing. Because the leaves, as I understand, is when the roots are solid and there's extra energy, that's when the leaves and the flowers and the fruits, they come out, not during the growth time. So the maximum growth of the roots happens when there are no leaves on the structure. So I feel that if you're thinking that the growth is not happening, it is happening. And we cannot see the roots underneath, right in the below on the soil. We don't know how much and how long indeed they're growing. So we feel like nothing's happening, but the roots are getting solid. So I feel that if there is some area in your life you feel that feels like this bare bone tree, then just know that the growth is happening behind the scenes. Now, some of you could be working in domains that are related to tree, those scientists or people that go out there research on trees and things like that. For some of you, it could be that as well. And actually, if I recall, the scientists, they actually study tree structures at the trunk level where there is no leaves. So, because, all those rings that are there on the trees, it speaks a lot about the tree, the pattern, how the tree grows and the history and all of that. It speaks a lot about the character of the trees. And the scientists that actually do the study is in the bark, right? They don't really need the leaves to study the structure and the behavior and the seasonal things about a certain tree. So the actual character and the deep knowing about any kind of tree structure comes through studying its barks for the most part. I mean, of course, leaves are used for other kind of research, for their utility, for, what can be extracted from the leaves, like the tea and, the other things. That's different. But when it comes to the tree itself, the structure, only the bark is studied about it. So for some of you, this could be, people looking at your life story, in the sense that your resume, for example, if you're going for a job, people will read your resume, like, what have you done in your domain? What are your credentials? Because, people cannot, that's the only way they can read your story, right? Like, what have you done? How much have you worked? What's your experience level? For some of you, it could be that people are getting to know you through your accomplishments, through your resumes, maybe that's circulating and things like that. So people are knowing about your story, like, like where you are, what you have accomplished through your resume, or maybe through word of mouth. Or it could be even like, if you're in a marriageable age, this could be you, like creating a profile for marriage or something like that, where people are trying to understand who you are based on what you have, based on your profile, maybe your profile picture of your profile, which has been written, what you have written about yourself, like I've studied here and I win this, and this is my dream, and this is my accomplishment, this is where I want to go, this is my future thoughts and things like that. So people might be reading that about you. Or this could be something that you put out about yourself, your own self, like, this is who I am, this is where I've been, this is what I've done. Maybe you're in a new place, you're introducing yourself. Maybe you're in a new company, you're introducing yourself. For some of you, it could be that as well, that people are getting to know your story, like where you come from, what you have done, and things like that. Now, others of you, this can also be an interest in, night walking. For some of you, could be walking out at night. Or you could be, a tree also reminds me of a family tree. For some of you, this could be learning about your family, the interests of the family, Some of you may be creating art pieces like this. This is a beautiful art piece. I had created something similar art piece in my younger day. For some of you, it could be like some form of art. Maybe you're trying to create something and you sit by the moon and you draw inspiration from nature or moon and write something, some creative endeavor, some stories, or learn about your own story, your family history, or something about trees and nature. And, that's very nourishing. So for some of you, that could be important as well. And for others of you, this could be something that, moonlighting is a concept in the corporate world where you work two jobs. So for some of you, you could be doing two jobs or something like that, on the side hustle, or you could be thinking about shifting your job or your career or your domain, so, and also with the moonlight over here, you could be looking into professions that are more about counseling, dream spaces, nighttime, what do you call, like meditation or something about sleep cycles, or some kind of technology that could be used at night, maybe space or something like that. For some of you, that could be relevant as well. But I feel that whatever you're doing in terms of profession, it's giving you that calmness, it gives you that peace, it gives you that, I feel it's a patient and slow-paced things that you are working on, something that cannot be rushed, something that cannot be hurried. You cannot hurry the night, you cannot hurry the seasons, something that requires time, something that happens only in its season that you're well aware of, the ups and downs, the life cycles, and that, like, for example, if you're selling a product like ice cream, it will be most sold in the summer months, and you know that already. For some of you, it could be some kind of a word tag that that the peak, can be achieved only seasonally. Or if you're selling warm clothes, you know that it's going to be sold maximum during the summer times, the fall time. I'm sorry, the winter times, the fall times, and springtime at the most, right? Nobody's going to buy warm clothes in summer. So you could be in businesses where you understand when the peak cycle is going to be, and you work according to that. And the last card for today, Taurus, you have is a message from the cosmos. And it says protection needed. It says shield. Further, it says it is vital at this time to protect your energy field, as others may be projecting negative energy onto you. You also may be in an environment for which you are absorbing negative vibes that are draining you. Call on Archangel Michael for protection and to clear your energy field. Having a practice of grounding and padding and putting a protective bubble around you every day will be helpful. So yeah, sieging it, or you can wear some ornaments. There were some crystals in the 9 of swords, and the reverse, there were a lot of crystals. So definitely you can bring in some crystals if you feel that there is some kind of negative energy or vibes in your environment around you. For your protection, you can also chant some words, and also you can call in the energy of Archangel Michael. That's there for protection. So you can do some rituals around that. So Taurus, those were your messages, and hope they resonated with you. Now moving on to the sign of Virgo. So the first card for today, Virgo, you have is the 8 of Pentacles. Now this is minor arcana. Pentacles is the earth suit, and you are the earth archetypal energy. So I feel, and you're the mutable earth sign, Virgos. Now, Eight of Pentacles, this deck has a little bit different connotation, like different meaning for the Eight of Pentacles, as compared to the regular Rider-Waite decks where there is a person sitting on the bench and, stamping out pentacle after pentacle after pentacle, trying to get a mastery over something. Here, the Eight of Pentacles is a different connotation. Here, the pentagram or the pentacle has already been complete. The main pentagram, if you see, it's like, lot of bright colors. It's like a fireworks that's going on behind this pentagram. So this is something that is ready, that's a beautiful masterpiece that has been completed, mastered. Also, if you see, there is a small circular mandala kind of a pentagram also that's just right below the main pentagram. So I feel that here for you, Virgos, this is you. this pentagram is you. It's no longer you trying to perfect something. It's that you are immersed in your craft. You already at that higher level of learning, of understanding, of your knowledge, and expertise of some sort in your domain that you have already achieved, that people are already seeing. So this is something that you have mastered time and time again. And Eight of Pentacles is like, something that you have been working on for a long time. It could be anywhere between, could be 8 years for some of you, could be a little less, little more. But in general, it's that, the time frame around 6 to 10 years when we perfect things, whether it's handcrafted items, whether it's becoming a chef, where everything has been mastered. Like, you are already fully immersed in it. It's not about working hard or working that extra time. It's that, you have become that craft person, that everything feels like, that you're able to create your masterpieces without it feeling like work. So you have mastered something out here. And, you're fully devoted, fully immersed. It's something that, it's that you're the expertise, like a PSG kind of an energy. And even if you see the products that are out in the world, they actually command a premium price for things that are mastered, that are terrific, whether it's cheese, whether it's crafts, whether it's when it's out there, the finest version. That's what I feel is the energy that you are already at that finesse, that mastery over something. Whether you're PhDing, whether you're a student, you've perfected a craft art, or you're in a company, or you're an owner of a business, or even at the global level, if you see there are countries that are masters at some items that they're well known for, like, the watches, the Swiss chocolates, or something like that. It's deep mastery. It's something that is a masterpiece, right? I mean, so yeah, so some of you might be perfecting something or already perfected something, whether it's your financial investment, like you've learned so much about investment and you know exactly which places, which stocks and companies to invest in, which portfolios to invest in, or it's a business that you're trying to run. You've understood the groundwork and everything about running a business, like the raw materials, the quality work comes from the finances, the marketing, the people, the the customer service, and all of that. You've perfected it, and now you're ready to launch your business. Or maybe this has been going in for quite some time, and now you're bringing in your A game. So it's that, it's that level of perfection. And of course, today, these things are being valued way much more, than ever because of all technology and, everything that can be mass produced, like in factories and all of that. People, of course, that's available at good cost, and it's a good cost cutting. And, because it's bulk and mass produced, we get it at lower cost. But then people are also appreciating those, the specialized crafts that are done by hands, like making, like, it could be anything. Anything which has been done by handwork is being appreciated. The skill, the finesse, the finest, the final completed product that has been done, by the hands are being also appreciated, and they hold a higher value than things that have been mass-produced. So for some of you, this could be something which is extraordinary, which is niche, that you have been working on. You have perfected it, and now you know how much value it is. It's so valuable that it can command a good price. For some of you, this could be a product that you've been working on time and time again, refining it, and now you know that it's ready to launch, and it will get the good price. So for some of you, it could be launching products. And so I feel that this is an extraordinary product, item, niche, specialty. Maybe it's learning, maybe you're a PhD, maybe you're in medicine, creating medicine, or creating maybe you're a chef, creating a food item, a new food item that you're going to launch, something that you have been working and polishing for a long time. Now you're ready to release it and bring it out into the world, which is going to be highly appreciated. And for you, Virgos, your attention to detail is your forte. So I feel that with a lot attention to detail and, the finesse and, the quality, the craftsmanship, and all of that are coming together, in some way. And I feel that it's going to pay off in a big way. For some of you, this could be that you, for example, like if you are a tour guide and you know everything about the city, so, you will be valued more than people that are just starting out. You know the nooks and crannies, every single landmark, the entire history, the places of visit, the places that, good to eat out, what needs to be done, which the most traffic it is, everything about that, and you're able to guide the tourists accordingly. So they appreciate your knowledge, they pay you, whether it's incentives, whether it's extra money that way, so they give you a tip or something like that. So you might be commanding more money in that specific domain just because of your accuracy, your precision, your knowledge, your depth, your attention to detail, the time you have invested into a certain craft, a certain field, that nobody else has been able to expert or perfect until yet. So great energy here, Virgos. I mean, yeah, you're fully zoned in, and it's evident, the people around you. So I do feel that, also one more thing, that this small round pentacle, this round thing, also I feel is very significant to this energy, While the Eight of Pentacles talks about perfecting one craft, I feel that you're already mastered at one, and you're almost developing a second craft or a second business, side gig or side hustle. Because this other round pentacle is like something that has not been brought out into the world as yet. Maybe you're still working on it, or it's close to, being completed. Maybe it's a hobby. Maybe it's some additional thing that you're working on the side, a craft, and you have been trying to perfect and master it as well. But it has not been either announced or brought out into the world, which I feel that you might do that very soon. So this is a second gig also that you're trying to perfect. Now, for some of you, if this is not a product or a launch, it could be some certification, some degree, some courses that you're trying to master perfect. And now you're going to present it to the world, as your qualification that will get you a higher pay or a pay rise. For some of you, it could be a business, a store, a craft store, or some fashion store, or some kind of maybe a restaurant or something, or maybe anything crafty, it could be anything, this gazillion items out here. So you could be doing some background work in that, like buying a store and you're putting in the stuff, collecting things or creating things, and now you're ready to announce it to the world, like coming up or coming soon or opening soon. It could be some classes also that you are opening up to. Maybe you're starting a tutoring business, and now you're opening up yourself to the world. Like you have, gathered the certifications that are needed for the particular kind of job, and now you're able to open yourself up to those opportunities. And for some of you, it could be that as well. But this is something which is like mastered, and immersed in that experience, and producing the best quality, and so apt for your Virgo energy, producing the best quality attention to detail, and fully living that experience. It's not that you're doing it out of obligation. It's something that you're fully zoned in and immersed in, something which is dear to your heart and soul. The next card you have, Virgo, is the seeds. So if you look at the picture, it's a very bright background. This entire deck, the background is bright. And of course, why not? Because we are heading towards the brightest time of the year, right? It's the summer solstice in the month of June, like somewhere around the 20th. Where the sunlight is going to be maximum. So I feel that this deck is very much aligned with that energy. Below that it says, deliberate planting, 5 futures, pre-solstice potential, and intelligent dispersal. So I feel that, these are 5 seeds. Of course, these are a lot of potentials, and each of these seeds, if you see, are different. There is an acorn out there, and we know that acorn seeds are for the pine, right? The pine, the tall, huge trees. The leafy pine, like leafy trees, is what the acorn comes from. And this is the seed. When sowed, it turns into that huge, giant acorn plant. If you see the seed beside of the acorn, it's like a green kind of a seed with a little bit of red in between. And then there is this feathery seeds and yeah, a lot of different kind of seeds out here in the picture. Yeah, so I feel that, and each of these seeds, if you see, if you realize just by looking at it, they are different in the weight, in the places where they grow, the conditions in which they grow, the timing, the seasonal timing, the amount of sun, rain, everything is different about each of these seeds. And even the way that they are planted or carried around, some of them are so light that they can be pollinated, carried by the birds and the winds. Some of them, they actually need to be planted. Some of them are store-bought. Some of them are seasonal. Some of them are annual, it's different. And the seed is like a very, it's a very potent energy of the, what do you call it's like a manual for the plant to grow, right? Like when the seed has that intelligence. It knows exactly how, the plants know exactly how it comes out of the seed. The seed has that potential. It has that intelligence also about how the plant, should sprout the leaves and all of that. So it's the inheritance intelligence which is inside of the seed. And of course, they're all planted in different ways at different times. So that's also going to be very critical and important with this energy. For you, Virgo, your ruler is Mercury, right? And I feel that these seeds out here are multiple directions or multiple places where you are investing your time and energy into. And because you're ruled by Mercury, you already know like how to do it. You know how you have the know-how, you have the expertise with the Eight of Pentacles energy. There is a lot of knowledge that you have, an understanding of the market, the conditions, and how these seeds should be planted. I feel that mastery itself has taught you like how these seeds or how these ideas, so-called ideas, can be applied into the real world, or when is the launch time, what should be done, how much is investment, how much it will bring in, which place would be the right place to launch it. Like, for example, if you are planning a restaurant, you want it to be there in the mall where there is high foot traffic, how are you going to benefit by opening a restaurant in a solitary place where there are few visitors? So, or you can have a restaurant in the most touristy places where it's got, or a souvenir shop. Souvenir shops are going to sell most or are going to be most profitable in tourist areas, So knowing those things and which of these talents or which of these ideas, need to plan it first, because I feel that you have a lot going on right now. And these are all seeds, they've not been planted as yet. Nothing's come out. So which means these are ideas that you're holding, which need to get out into the world in some way, shape, or form. And you, being the master of the Eight of Pentacles, knows exactly how to plan these and where to plan these, Like some of the ideas, they need funding. So where to get the funding from? Some of them need online presence. So you wanna, you already perfected that area of what needs to be done to launch it online. Or some of you might be just, those kind of seeds which are all going to be different, which are all going to need different support systems, like different levels of funding, different resources, different places, whether it's going to be online or offline or both, which city, which place, all of that, and what is the right size of the store. It shouldn't be too big, too small. What are the hours and all of that. Those are the conditions that will help these seeds grow into their full potential. So I do feel that there are multiple ideas that you're trying to launch out there. And which one goes first is something that, it's going to be different for each one of you. You know which opportunity to tap into and at what time. So that's the one thing important. And you being ruled by Mercury, you know exactly what makes sense and at what time. So I feel that, and also with this, the summer months, the sun is at its peak, which means maximum illumination, maximum energy, maximum solar power. For some of you, it could be solar energy also, but otherwise also, it's a good time because sun is at its peak, the maximum energy, maximum charge, maximum light, illumination, time, everything, is available to you. Now, you might need to decide on which one goes first, which idea you need to focus on, because you can't be distracted with 5 different ideas at the same time. You got to pick one and launch it, pick second and launch it. So it's going to be different for each one of you, and I feel that the idea that you're going to choose first is the one that is going to be most dearest to you. That's what everybody does, right? Like the idea that we are strongly drawn to, that resonates strongly with us, that's really dear to our heart and soul. Is the idea that goes first, and I feel it's going to be the same for you as well. Now, for some of you, you could be investors, like financial portfolios, where you're kind of investing into different places, diversifying it, not having your eggs in one basket, so as to tap into the market conditions. Like, even in the market, like, some stocks will grow faster, some companies will grow slower. And all of them, they grew at their own pace. But depending on what your intention is and what your idea for your own returns is, I feel you're going to act accordingly, like creating that financial portfolio and diversifying your investments. For others of you, this could actually be the plantation. You could be into some sort of agriculture, soil, or plantation, or forest, or those kind of industries, some kind of technology related to our agriculture or seeds. Even there's a lot of research which is going on in the seeds and preservations and all of that. So some of you could be into those industries, or just growing plants and seeds in your own backyard, to suit your own taste. Maybe you want to grow your own produce or your own fruits, or you want some flowers. So based on that, you're going to, pick the right seeds and create a backyard for yourself. And for others of you, this could be that you are into a research mode, of different ideas. If these seeds are different ideas, then you might be researching up on 5 different ideas. You might be doing your own due diligence. You must be asking people around. You might be getting the help to guide you through it, maybe presentations. Like you have 5 ideas or 5 processes that you want to implement that work. And you're trying to get the, the prototype running, so that you're able to see, how the basic things are going to come together. For some of you, it could be that, and you're reporting people to put those ideas together. For others of you, it could be building networks in different places so that you can launch your ideas and get the support of different people, like networking, spread the word by word of mouth, or just pull on the right resources through your networking as well. So for some of you, this could be networking events or different kind of events that you are attending even. And the last card for today, Virgo, you have is a message from Cosmos, and it says abundance, security. Further, it says money is energy like anything else. You want it to flow but not feel trapped. Trusting that the universe will take care of you gives off the energy of abundance and expectancy in every dollar you receive. Know that you are supported and the money will flow. So yeah, this is creating the abundance through ideas, through implementation, creating a financial security, and just knowing, having that faith in the universe that the ideas will land where they should and will bloom when they should. So just knowing that, doing things with positive intention and knowing how the universe works in cycles, and knowing that there are abundant opportunities for you to tap into in order to create that abundance for yourself. Knowing that every idea that you try, even if it fails, you know that there is a support and a learning in that failure so that you can prosper in the next idea. So just knowing that a business idea failing is nothing that the universe is conspiring against you. They're preparing you for the next big run. So understanding that support is still there no matter how it shows up is something that will create this energy and abundance flowing energy to you. So Virgos, those were your messages, and hope they resonated with you. The first card you have, Capricorn, for today is the King of Cups. Below it says emotional sovereignty, warm authority, crystalline depths, and heart-led power, which I completely agree with. You see, there is only a crown in this picture as opposed to an actual king sitting on a throne. So it actually shows the power of the crown, the authority, irrespective of who is wearing it. And also the energy of the card is like very soft. It's very, like there are red tones, there is, teal, aquamarine, and all of those shades out here, which indicate a lot of depth. And there is also a lot of, if you see the crown, it's very intricate, very much detailed, So I feel that the focus is also on the depth and the detail. Could be of a certain situation, could be the way you handle situations. I feel that it speaks to a lot of emotional intelligence, and I've been hearing, I've been seeing, I've also been hearing, and I've also been reading a lot of, and I've also been seeing it as well, that people now that have a lot of EQ alongside of IQ are the kind of, the preferred leadership material. Like people who can, who have the capacity to feel things, the situation, read the room, empathize, be compassionate, and at the same time, they're able to convey that message without allowing the situation to get the better of them, or to get the better of their emotions, or to allow the emotions to get the better of them. So I feel that Capricorn, you are a cardinal birth sign, and the King of Cups is the water element, so you might have some water placements, strong water placements, or it's just that you have been kind of, done it all, been there, felt it, experienced it, failed a couple of times, because the King energy is about learning from failures. It's about feeling through things, and then, feeling through things and then coming up with the action plan, not just with what feels right or with logic and, the pros and cons and assessments. I feel that, of course, that is a part of the King of Cups. They're very smart in their decisions, but this decision is also coming from a heartfelt space, like a very wise space. It's not like you're trying to control your emotions. Earlier in the Rider-Waite deck, it's the King of Cups is portrayed as a person who has their feet in the water, and even though the water is not still, it's a little bit, it's a dynamic water energy in the traditional Rider-Waite deck. The person, the king, knows how to manage, how to control the emotions. But here it's not about that, because controlling emotions also sometimes builds that pressure inside of us. Whereas, and so does the managing of the emotions, and kind of controlling emotions builds that emotional pressure inside of us, which might, come out in radical, irrational ways at times. Here, this is a person, this is the crown, and it's come out for you, which means that you understand how to feel through situations and stay calm and still express that in the best way possible, which is easy to receive, which is compassionate, which uses kinder, softer words, while conveying the message, while conveying the depth of a situation, but choosing the right kind of words, This is also about personal touch. Like, I've seen a lot of businesses, they send postcards, notes, follow-ups and all of that. The human-to-human connection, which is also very much rewarding, and also, draws a lot of people. It builds a lot of trust. So, a lot of companies today are choosing the more human element touch, especially in today's world, which is so robotic, which is so, driven by numbers and metrics. So in those times, being able to bring the human element to the table without appearing reckless is a sign of good, positive, healthy leadership, and it also is known to provide better outcomes in companies. Teams feel more safer to express their ideas versus feeling judged. It's also a sense of calmness that people feel around bringing in their most depth information or fears or whatever is going on in their personal lives to you, knowing that you will not be misreading into them or misusing that information. So that makes you good counselors, makes you good advisors, makes you very receptive, creating that safe haven and safe spot for people to share information with. So it's not that the King of Cups should not be crying or should be able to manage those tears. No, it's the King of Cups that actually cries out loud or cries out there, in their house, in regards to a situation. And finally, when next it comes back, with a solution that is heartfelt. That's the true sign of a leader where they are, coming up with options and solutions which are in the best interest of everyone, not just for their own personal gains or motives. And everybody can tell the difference. So it's not about, and especially for Capricorn that are ruled by Saturn, which is all about discipline, all about structure. Here, even in those structured places, like for example, if you see law is very structured, it's documented, or business is very structured, very documented. Even in those places, when we include the human dimension of it, like hearing people out and seeing, the reality of our situation, even though it might appear differently, or you might hear different opinions and judgments and evidences, especially for those law people or law enforcement, feeling into the situation and knowing that a person, could be right, even though all evidence stands against them, to be able to trust that and having the EQ and high IQ in order to understand that, even though every evidence points against this or a rule points against this, there might be something that, that can be pulled up to prove that the person is right or this process is right, even though it might appear wrong on paper. So being able to convey that and having people, believe in your theory or in your ideas is also a huge sign of the King of Cups energy. So you might be leaning into those practices, for others of you, this could also be therapeutic energy, where wellness and going to places that are actually allow you to feel it, like, like closer to the sea, or visiting places that are near the water bodies or near nature, where you can actually feel it without the extra tours and all of that, just hopping from place to place and seeing architecture and all of that. Or that could be for some of you if you're able to strongly feel, but a lot of water energy comes through, where you can sit down, where you can just relax and watch the water bodies and, reflect on things or contemplate on things and things like that. So some of you could be into the waterfront visits or properties, even if you're looking for investments, or even if you're making financial investments, you're investing into places that strongly resonate with your heart and soul versus what the numbers are saying. So if a business does not resonate with your ideology or does not feel close to your heart or to your something that you feel deeply for, you're probably not going to invest into it, even though it might show promising growth. So whether it's an investment in your own self, or also you might be taking to some sessions or courses that deepen your interest in wellness industry. Some of you could be part of it, spas and things that lighten the weights, that allow people to connect with their emotions. Sometimes in today's fast-moving pace, we forget to feel what we feel. We constantly are consumed by so much chatter and information that we forget to spend time with our own sounds. So for some of you, this could be deeply rooted in connecting with your own body, your own emotions, and see what floats your boat and things like that. So being more emotionally present, where people can warm up to you. and feeling through things is is also a big responsibility, especially when it comes from a king's perspective. So you could be a masculine or a feminine. Just because it's a king's energy doesn't have to be a masculine energy. It could be somebody who is mature, very mature, who knows the functioning of humanity and the psychology and psychic abilities, even intuition. You feeling your body, feeling your emotions, and high intuition is also something which comes through either experience or through practice, meditation. A lot of spiritual practices elevating in spirituality and spiritual dimensions also helps you to feel through things, when you see things from an elevated perspective. For some of you could be going through some coaching, even I've heard of leaders, a lot of leadership that go through these kind of training, so that you're able to feel and take the right decisions in high power, high charge environments. Now, for some of you, this could be in the mundane, even every relationship you're handling in a different way, whether it's personal life or professional life. There's a lot of emotional engagement and development with the King of Cups. For some of you, this could be into, like I said, you could be invested into things that make you feel good, at a soul level from the core, whether it's investment into therapy or investment into sustainable practices, or it's, taking time off for yourself and your family, spending time by the beach, by the water bodies, or something which is, related to water. Could be waterfront properties or, fish tanks or aquariums. Some of you could be working in marine life and any profession related to water body, water technology, or investing into some kind of, the businesses that cater to water or waterfront in some way, shape, or form. And being able to also, about feeling alive, Sometimes we just raise walls because of negative experiences, but I feel those going away, the walls dissolving, and you're feeling emotionally connected. You can feel things, you can enjoy things, you can laugh at things, you can laugh at your own self, So it's a highly elevated perspective, even at a soul level, at an emotional level. When you're able to fully immerse yourself in the moment, no matter you're working or you're enjoying or you're spending time at events, being fully immersed in that experience, mind, body, soul is something that the King of Cups energy, brings to us. The next card you have, Capricorn, is the tree house. The tree house very much is your energy here, Capricorn, at this moment, I feel, because, for some of you, this could actually be building a house or looking at properties around an elevated space, It's like in the nature, we already saw like waterfronts. For some of you, it could be in the mountain or, places that are green, that have high, a lot of green trees and all of that. And at the same time, it's facing the water of some sort. So for some of you, you could be looking out for properties that are in nature, in the wilderness, around ponds. Or you could be going out there for vacations in places that are, like national forests, national parks, or by the beaches and oceans, or visiting places for vacation. Now, the best thing I like about this entire deck is the blue light, It's like a soul that each object is portrayed to have. Over here in this treehouse for you, there is this blue spark light, which is there right at the point where there's a ladder is meeting at the top point in the trunk, So that's the soulful living at that spot, exactly where you enter this treehouse. For some of you, you could be interested in tree houses as well, but physically or literally or even in practical life, this is a vantage point, And the ladder is the climb. And that's so appropriate for Capricorn, which has this life as that mountain goat, right? Which is on a sand, which climbs, which keeps putting in one foot in front of the other. So I feel this is totally your energy. You're the earth sign. You're the cardinal earth sign. The starter is the leader, is the people who can, climb who can take projects that are self-motivated. And I feel that you have completed this climb, that you have completed this treehouse. It's the work that you have put in, and now you're at this elevated perspective, which means like some of you could be students, when you enroll into a course, believe it or not, at the end of it, we're not the same person that we were when we started the course. There is an elevation, there is knowledge, there is growth, there is perspective change. And the higher, the more certificates, the more graduation, the more education that we do, our perspective keeps shifting on things, and things don't feel the same at the ground level. From a vantage point, from an elevated point, things feel different. Some things feel small. Some things, we get the true picture of things. So here you are at an elevated perspective, whether spiritually or in the physical world, whether this is escalation in your job at higher positions, and now you can see the things that are not visible at the ground level, like maybe you are a team player and information that is visible to you now at a leadership position is not what was available to you at the, at a hands-on person. So for some of you, you might be elevating in your place of work or business and knowing and seeing things from that perspective, like, oh, this is how the company functions. Oh, this is how the funds are transferred or allocated, and these are the technologies that we need to invest in, and this is the direction that we need to focus on. So those things become more important versus, at a lower position. So some of you could be in that place as well, or this could be your business, that you're escalating, elevating, and you're seeing the challenges that are now visible to you, like how you scale your business. You're like, okay, this is how you scale it, and these are the problems at a global level or at a city level that I was not aware of when I had just one store. Now I'm going my store so I can see the challenges and how every city and how every state or people and demographics are performing in different places. So you're seeing things at a elevated perspective, even spiritually when we elevate, and there are different modalities for elevation. You could be into any modality, any practice that has seen this, that, and your body feels that increase, that, other things that felt petty or felt important at that point in time, and you are not that spiritually elevated, feel petty now, So you're like, there is growth out here. There is soul growth. There is growth in your real physical world. There is growth in even the financial world, I feel. And the system that you have built in is solid, because it's building on a tree. A tree is solid. This is a green tree. There is growth. There is rootedness, No matter how far you go, there is always a connection to the roots. So no matter where you have grown, maybe you have become big people or the big names of the industry, but you're still rooted in your family, in reality. In your spirituality, in the reality of the cosmos, in faith and higher powers. So I do feel that you're still rooted in reality, still keeping those connections, no matter how far you have come along. I also feel that some of you might be spending time in nature. Like I said, it could be in tree houses. Actually, there's a lot of growth in tree house properties. So some of you could be invested into that or thinking about spending time over there just to connect with nature. And it has huge physical benefits, our hormones, the entire body, it changes, the feeling, the mind, psychological impact that nature and trees have on human beings has been studied to be enormous. It cannot even be measured. For some of you, this could also be, a tree house is like a house, a structure that we create for the next generations, because these are solid structures. For some of you, these could be legacy spaces and legacy systems that you are leaving for the next generations or for the next generation of your office or the company. Some structures that you have created are maybe patented structures that you are leaving behind, because like they say, we'll leave the world a better place. For some of you, these could be legacies in the world that you're leaving, some kind of rule, law, or structure that you have created that's going to benefit generations on. For some of you, these could be properties and your own financial legacies that you're leaving for the next generation in your family itself. For some of you, you are creating structures, you're teaching so that people can elevate. Yeah, the society, the students can elevate. Yeah, and you're like, that's my biggest value add, and that's my biggest even way to humanity. Is like teach people and elevate them. So for some of you, you could be building institutions or courses or universities. You could be working in universities that really transform the thought process of people, or you could be working in spiritual structures, laying down roots, or expanding in some way that elevate humanity in general. Now, some of you could be working in those sectors, wellness sectors or wilderness or cabins in the wooden, in those, what do you call the national parks and national forests, or you could be some kind associated with the hospitality industry as well, where and hospitality industry in these areas has gained so much traction, so much momentum. People want to go there, watch the clear skies, spend time outside in nature, and do things, in nature, feed the animals, or just learn more about trees and nature and all of that. So first, and it's a huge industry. It's a $1 billion industry in today's time. So some of you could be learning up about it, or even involved or engaged in those kind of industries. Now, others of you could be buying properties, like I said, in the hilltops or at elevated floors, like elevated floors, like higher floors, 10, 20, 15. Some of you could be, interested in higher level living because it just shows you what the city around you is, Or some of you could be interested in rooftop restaurants and buildings of some sort, like, to see the city from elevated perspectives. For some of you, you could be we're going to high-rise apartments or buildings where you're able to see that elevated perspective, of a city or those views, even from helicopters or something like that. But I don't feel it's airbound. I feel it's more ground, ground level high-rise apartments. And there's a lot of high-rise, rooftop bars that allow you to see that elevated view of the city and in general, So some of you could be interested in those things as well. And the last card, Puturi Capricorn, you have is a message from Cosmos. And it says, decision in fear, control. Let's see. Further, it says, some decisions and choices that you have made are based on fear and are not heart-centered knowledge. Fear is your ego wanting control. Take the step back and make a responsive choice rather than a reactive one. Then you're able to see the truth of the best choice with a calm and centered manner. The King of Cups energy at play. So this is something that you will need to embody or you're heading into, because this message says that some of the decisions, which I feel that you might revisit, some decisions that you've already made may be fear-based, like what if, what this, that, and the third. You might be calculating, and the message here is it's just because you want to stay in control of things. But I feel that, once we release the control, and for you earth signs in general, I'm seeing, I think one of the earth signs have the seeds card where you need to release the seeds and put it into the soil for the right conditions for it to grow. Releasing the seed from the hen and doing something about it was a message. I think it was for Virgo, I think. So a similar thing, you need to release things from your hand is the common theme in the earth signs. So releasing control, not making decisions from fear. Also, there was this moonlight energy for Taurus, which is about seeing things in the dark, working in the wee hours and connecting with your thoughts, allowing the visions and dreams to guide you, or some kind of synchronicities and messages from your angels, archangels. There was some Archangel Michael presence. I think it was in the Taurus card or something. So connecting to your angels, archangels, letting them guide you, releasing that little bit of a control. I feel that some of you might be holding too tight onto outcomes or how things should play out. I feel the King of Cups energy is asking you to ease that, dissolve that control as well. That's one of the things that the King of Cups does, like, also going with the flow, leading from your heart space and letting the universe work its wonders behind the scenes, you know. It says here, yeah, you're able to see the truth of the best choice with a calm and centered manner once you release control and you calm yourself down, which is your underlying theme, you know, spending time in nature and the water bodies to calm, to feel things. Once you come from that place, I feel you will be able to see what choice would be right for you or what choice you were making before, which might not have been the most appropriate ones, versus the choice that you will make now. And I feel this change is going to come about in the next few days for you, Capricorn. So Capricorn, those were your messages and hope they resonated with you. So thank you guys for joining. Please subscribe and hit the like if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye for now.